Hi guys, how are you? It's Brick Nostalgia here. Today we're gonna review these vintage Lego set number 6540, called Pier Police from 1991. This is a very iconic vintage set that was part of the Nautica theme that was released in the early 90s. I have this set complete with box and instructions, so let's have a look at both of them first, and then we're gonna go for a brief overview of the set itself. Okay, so in terms of box and instructions, let's have a look at the instructions quickly first. There's not much to say because there's no alternate builds suggested in the instructions. There's just some pictures here of the official build on the front cover of it, but then the inner pages just have the steps of the official build, and the last page is just the last step of the build, so no alternate builds suggested in this case. However, not a big deal for this review, as I have the box. The box is very nice. I like it a lot. It has these detail here that is yellow stripe on its corners. Let me see if I can show you a bit, which is something that reminds me a lot of my childhood times, because I remember all the boxes on the shelves in the toy store where I used to go to buy Lego sets, and these yellow frames around the boxes are the ones, some details that help me a lot to remember about those times. So very nice front cover over here. If oh, actually, sorry, inside there is also the box for another set. I just forgot to take it out, so let's just take a picture take of it as well. There you go. And now if we move back to the box, here we have on the inner part of the flat front cover, we have some pictures again of the official build. Let me see if I can lift it up a bit. Yeah, there you go. Very, very nice. Helps to make you wanna build the whole thing up. And then there is once again, as it used to be the norm back in those days, we have lots of alternate builds suggested on the back of the box. So I'm just gonna try to give a bit of a close-up here. These and these are the most sophisticated ones. This is very interesting. It shows you a different way of building a motorboat, and then there is a whole different structure built on the raised base plates. This is a very nice small cute build. It's an aqua scooter, just made with the pieces. Very interesting concept, very nice. You know, just if you want to go for something a bit more funky and that goes a bit more far from the official standard builds, that's a very nice one. Very interesting build here, because moves away from the concept, moves a bit away from the concept of the official build, as introduces the concept of an elevated bridge here, and this is supposed to be a cargo ship, I guess. So interesting, just another way to build a police station here. Here, yeah, just simpler stuff, maybe for kids that are a bit younger and struggle with the creativity yet. Very interesting, exciting speedboat. This is, I think it's no more police related, but very interesting. So if you want to have races in water, this could be a good way to go. And this is the build that I like the most, and I left it as the last one, which is this build that is very similar to the original one for certain aspects. But what I like a lot is that the building itself and the base plates were split into different sections, and a little bridge was built to connect both of them. Now what I like a lot is that this makes me want to add some base plates over here, so you can connect these to the rest of the city that you might have on this side of the picture. And then there is this little bridge that allows boats to pass through, and I don't know, it just makes it this speaks a bit more to me than the others, makes it more exciting. I don't know, I might try to build it and make a video out of it. What do you think? I don't know, just let me know. Tell me in the comment sections if you want me to build any of these, and I'll try to find some time to make a video of it. Okay, so this is it for box and instructions, so let's move to the set. Okay, in terms of the set itself, let's have a look at the vehicles first, and then we're gonna have a look at the police station itself. Okay, so as you can see here, it comes with 4 vehicles and 4 minifigures. The minifigures are classic vintage type with just smiley faces, no particular prints on them, and the torsos are pretty much all the same as this one. I'm not gonna take any one of them, as they're very classic and very flat in terms of style, so not much to say. And in terms of vehicles, there are 1 motorcycle, 1 car, and 2 speedboats, so very interesting. I think it's a very good choice, as gives a lot of versatility. The motorcycle itself is just classic early 90s mold, but what is interesting is this windshield here that is not very common and a bit expensive on Bricklink, I think. So if you have any of these by hand, make sure you take special care of it. There you go, so very nice, I like it, and I like how it is presented with this windshield. It makes it more interesting. Car itself, very simple build. This is a mini car, very simple build, that is very iconic and classic of the early 90s type. If you are my age and you grew up in those years, these type of builds are gonna bring will bring lots of nostalgia and childhood memories to you. That's what happens every time I bump into little cars like these. And then there is the first of the 2 speedboats, and this one is very small, very basic, a mold and a look that I don't like, but that was extremely standard for those 90s. Pretty much anything that had boats or speedboats in it was made in this mold and with this structure. And the last one that is worth discussing a bit further is this bigger one, this bigger speedboat that has actually a very interesting and good presentation into it. The look is very good, there's a decent amount of details, and it's nice that it uses the type of special pieces that give a very good look to the front. If you have a look at builds from older years, or from builds coming from idea books, you can see that in general when you build boats, you use here just some regular inverted slopes, which doesn't give a very smooth look to the front of boats themselves, but this one, it's not the case for this one. In terms of details here, you just have the little seat with a steering wheel and various and a slope, printed slope with buttons printed into it. Yes, the interesting thing here is that there is a string that is supposed to allow, once you attach the whole thing to another boat, it's supposed to allow the speedboat to drag other vehicles around. Last thing is that if you lift this front section, you open up a whole section, a whole section that unfortunately doesn't have any details, so interesting feature, but not much more to say about it. There's definitely room for customizations, I would say, for anyone that is willing to making everything a bit more exciting. So very nice. We're gonna move to the police station itself now. The only thing I wanted to say is that I think it would have been a better choice or more useful if instead, for example, of this boat, there was going to be a boat driven by a criminal instead of being a police boat. If this was made by, it was supposed to be the one made by the criminal, I think it would have improved the playability, also because you could have pretended were going to be boat races between these two. Obviously not a big deal, because being Lego, you just, as you can see, you can just take the printed piece off and eventually change the minifig, and you will be sorted. But I think it would have been a bit better if the whole thing was going to be presented in a different way, with that extra detail from the beginning. Okay, so let's move to the main police station. Okay, the police station itself is pretty good looking. I like its presentation. It's very well structured, and proportions are well made. It's simpler than a standard police station from those times, not just in terms of size, but also you can see that there's less details. It makes use of these raised base plates that came out in the early 90s with this type of sets, the Nautica sets, and it's very interesting. I don't like much the pieces themselves, but they're very useful, you know, if you're supposed to build a dock or a bay, you know, it gives you that couple of extra bricks height that gives you the chance to play more properly with the various boats you have. Not much to say. I'm just gonna give you a run. There's just a few details over here with these ladders and these various red and yellow pieces and some flowers over there. The interesting thing to point out is this big long piece that you see here. The interesting thing to know is that both these straight white piece and these blue radar piece are fairly expensive ones on their own on Bricklink, so if you bump into any of these pieces, make sure you have to take care of them, because it's fairly valuable. Also these, no, actually I think this base here, no, is not the expensive version. Let's turn the whole thing around, and here we can spot the details, the inner details of the building. Very simple. It's a lot simpler, as I already said, than average than the other more standard police stations. This literally has just a few seats and a couple of printed pieces here and there, just to yeah, you know, just represent control stations, but it's really very dry on the inner part of it. So pretty much that's it. There's just this little other detail here and this other detail here on top that are very small details, but help to give texture to the whole build. Okay guys, so pretty much that's it for this review. I have to say, as final thoughts, let's say that I think this set is a great set. It's not just because it's very iconic, but I think has a great level of details and playability. It's very well presented. It's just a seaport version of a police station, but it's very well made. There's a lot of playability. It has a great personality, as we could see from having a look at the box. There's plenty of room for very interesting and exciting alternate builds. So I'm gonna wrap it up just saying that if anyone is thinking about adding these to his collection, should definitely go for it, because it feels great to have it in front of me, so it will feel great to have it in front of you. Okay, so thank you very much guys for watching, and don't forget to rate, comment and subscribe so you can stay tuned for more. Okay, so thank you very much, and I'll see you later.